doing, pal?
I've literally been just waiting to bang this out with you for
Man, you don't sound good.
it's this is do you understand my major irritation in life is that this is your fault, that you gave me the evil eye and put this on me, and
All
then
right, I'll take it back. Listen, I talked to my mom. My mom said when you remove the curse, she will remove the COVID curse.
no, I'll get over the COVID. Your mom could stay fat. Fuck that. I'm okay with that. That's a that's I wouldn't lift the COVID thing. It's gonna run its course. That's such an empty threat. I'm not even buying
That's
it.
what her that's what her word was today.
Yeah, you.
She said if you lifted the fat curse, she would lift the COVID curse.
Tell her no deal. Tell her no
All
deal.
right.
No deal.
You know, this COVID long hauler symptoms.
You're right. Oh, he's such a piece of shit.
You'll have COVID forever and she'll be fat forever. This is never gonna end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I feel like we have to talk about this.
Well-
What did Antonio Brown do today? If anybody doesn't know, because I got some NFL stories about some crazy NFL players, and I feel this is fitting. Fitting.
Okay.
What happened today? He literally went crazy.
I wasn't watching the game, but it's.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I just saw like one highlight. I just saw that he was agitated on the sideline, and I think he was talking to a receiver, and he started stripping his equipment off, his jersey and his pads and whatever, and started walking off the field. Didn't even bother walking around the end zone. The game's still going on. He just cut through that back corner while the game's playing, and gave the peace out signs to the fans, and that was it.
Right. So if people don't know, so NFL, National Football League, American football, Antonio Brown's been a case, like a nut case, like head case. He's always causing trouble, getting kicked off teams. He didn't even play for the Raiders, did he?
No,
He
he
never
never
got a
made it.
game in
Never
for them.
played.
He was kicked out before the game even
Yeah.
started.
But I mean,
Yeah,
like sexual assault allegations.
Right. Faking COVID vaccination.
Yeah, faking documents. He's verbally, they've got him on tape, verbally abusive to his wife. They've got him not paying people that have come and done work for him. A lot.
Right. Totally nut job.
He's a total piece. Like, the guy's a total piece of shit, and he's had 3 more
Right.
chances than he deserved in the league. And
because
personally,
Tom Brady, good old Tom Brady, went to bat for him.
Tom Brady
That's what happened.
went to bat for him this last time, and
Right.
in New England too. But he only played like a game
Right.
in New England, didn't he?
Right.
But but that's Tom Brady being selfish. That's like, we can get this guy cheap on our team. It'll help me win
Right.
another Super Bowl ring.
Right.
Who cares that he's got all these rape allegations and all this other shit? Because at the end of the day, don't be fooled about all this, anything shiny and nice about Tom Brady. I'm a selfish piece of shit. And so,
Right.
and so because he vouched for him twice on 2 different teams, a lion's share of the blame for this go round should just fall right on Tom Brady's shoulders. Because in the real world,
I agree.
when you vouch for someone, that's like co-signing the loan. That's like if they
Right.
don't show up to pay for it, the tab's on you. And so
Right.
Brady deserves the fucking heat. And since I don't like him anyways, just hopefully he'll catch some. He won't, because everyone fucking gives him a pass on everything. But
Right. Well, so he went crazy during the game. And all of a sudden, he took off his pads, his jersey. He even had like a shirt underneath. He took that shirt off. He threw it in the crowd. Now they're in New York, which is the funny part. They're not even in Tampa. He took his shirt off, and he was literally no shirt on, and he ran across. He ran across the end zone. He did like a little dance and waved his arms in the end zone, like while the game was going on the other end of the field.
yeah, they didn't even stop the game because, like, technically,
Right.
I guess they could have thrown a flag for too many men on the field for Tampa.
Yeah, right. I don't even know what he was doing. And then he went in the locker room, and they said that he's no longer part of the team. He's done.
Yeah.
And it made me think of some stories, and one of these is close to home to you. And I don't think I've ever told. Maybe I've told this on the podcast long ago, but I worked for a company called GameStop years and years ago, and there was I believe it was a Monday Night Football game. It was the Dolphins and the Patriots. Randy Moss played for the Patriots at the time. You remember that?
I mean, I remember all those situations. I just don't know if I remember that specific game.
So it was a Monday Night Football game, and the Dolphins had put a whooping on the Patriots, one of the very few times, and they lit them up. And Brady wasn't throwing the ball to Randy Moss. He wasn't passing to him. He was getting upset. Blah blah blah. So Tuesday morning, I'm
Are you
opening GameStop.
outside?
Yeah, I got the Villanuevas here. We don't need the whole fucking 17 children yelling and screaming.
Oh,
Um,
that's why it
so
sounds off. All right.
it's your ears, they're clogged.
No. You'll listen back. You'll understand.
So anyway, they had Randy Moss. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm not open yet. The store's not open. And
Oh, by the way,
there's-
this is the last
yeah,
time I take a backseat to JoJo and his fucking monkey crew. Okay, like
okay, all right,
next time we do the podcast on time, especially if I'm on death's door with
okay,
COVID. I'm not fucking that. I'm glad you said guests and not who it was, because I would have. You're very lucky. I would have fucking
all right.
put my foot. Fuck him and fuck them. Okay.
Anyway, okay, you sound like Bobby now. Him and Bobby got beef. It's great.
Well, I don't have beef with
Anyway,
him, but he doesn't take. I don't. I'm not taking a backseat to that fat fuck. Sorry.
okay, all right. So anyway, the Randy Moss is outside the store. Like I look over and I go, it's Randy Moss. It's Tuesday. It's all over ESPN how Randy Moss did not travel back with the Patriots to Boston, and he stayed in Miami because he lived in Boca.
Yeah, this was
He
when
wasn't
he
going
lived.
back.
Does he still live in that retirement community?
He does. He lives over there still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wouldn't go. He wouldn't go back with the team, and it's all over. I'm watching SportsCenter that morning. He didn't fly back with the team. They don't know what's going on, and I look outside, and he's standing outside the door, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I let him in, and I let him in a little early because,
He's
he's
Randy
famous.
Moss.
I mean, fucking Randy Moss.
Right.
So he comes in, and I was like, hey. And he's like, hey. And he was like, I need an Xbox. I need this game, this game, this game, this game. And he throws me like, 10 games. I don't know, something like that. So I'm getting everything for him. And
Are you on
I was
commission
like,
at the place like that?
no, I was the store manager. So
Okay.
I just bonus stuff, sales and stuff. So I'm like, on a Tuesday, in the middle of and towards this was like before Christmas. It was that lull period of like September, like the NFL season had just started, and
Yeah.
like you don't make any money at that point. So to get a sale like that to start the day is like, oh shit, like we're gonna be on fire today. So I said, man, what happened, man? And he's like, man, I'm like, you're all like, it's all over the news, like, And it's funny because when he went to pay first, he gave me his black card. I wasn't even done getting everything. He was like, you need ID? I was like, yeah, no, I know who you are. I don't need ID. But he had an American Express black card, which if you've never seen one, they're super thick. They don't even slide really. They like, because they're so thick. They're heavy. So I was like, what happened? And he was like, nah, man, I'm not going back. He's like, they went past the ball to me and we lost and I'm not going back. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to lock myself in the house. And I'm going to play Xbox. And so somebody from there decides that I'm worthy of, catching passes. And I was just like blown away that he was in the store. But
Was
his
that
mentality
was that at
like,
the beginning or the end of his run with them?
that was the end.
Okay, because he did have like
Yeah,
a
pretty sure that
100
was at
catch
the end.
year there.
No, this was like his, like,
But you know
that
what I
year
mean?
was like his,
But you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
he did.
if he had a
Yeah.
100 catch year, hey, I understand why he'd be frustrated. Why they're not throwing him the
Right.
ball. I mean,
No,
I think
this
that
was
year.
the end.
I think that year him and Welker both had 100 catches in the same team.
Yeah. But this was the end because he was done. Like I remember, I think he ended up like, I don't know if he finished the season out or not, but I remember he ended up like really like not playing well the rest of that season. He was like, it was a mental case. But I'll never. He was in a white T-shirt. He was in black Dickie shorts, and he had socks with sandals on. I don't know why I remember this. but that's what he was wearing. And the shirt was like kind of dirty. It literally looked like he left the game, went home, and like just said, "Fuck life, I'm done. Like I'm over it." Um, he was like really like kind of like weird in the store. Like there was nobody there, so it's not like anybody was asking for autographs or anything. But he was super, super like sketchy. Like he like somebody was gonna see him, or something. And I was like, well, shit. I mean, I could probably, if this was now, I would have taken a picture or a video, and I would have been TMZ rich. Because not rich, like $100, but we
Right.
know what they pay. Um, but yeah, because he was real nervous about it, but he was like, I'm not going back. But it's funny because working at GameStop, I mean, I work at a sporting goods store now, and I've not met as many famous people as I met at GameStop in Boca Raton. So that was my first. It was Randy Moss, and he got his games and he left. Second one was with Plexico Burris. Plexico Burris, after he shot his foot. This is after he shot his foot off Plexico Burris in the New York
Did he
nightclub.
shoot his foot or
Um,
into his leg?
in his leg or something, his foot. But he went to jail because you can't have a gun in New York in a club.
Right.
So he went to jail, and he came. This is after jail. He was in the store with his wife and kids, and he bought a Nintendo Wii. And I will say though, he's gigantic. I mean, he is a monster tall of a man. Like he's Plexico Burris, the face, everything. But he took time to sign autographs and take pictures. He had all his kids with him, and he had like 4 kids, and he took time to take pictures, autographs. Like his wife was cool about it. Um, he didn't like freak out, but he spent like $1,200 or something like that, like a Nintendo Wii, which was like $200, and he bought like all his accessories and games.
Yeah.
Because he was on house arrest, I think, after he got out of prison, if I remember right. But
Probably
he was
probably still
cool.
drawing checks though. You know how the
Right, right. And
NFL
he was
works.
wearing a New York Giants hat still. So he was probably still under contract,
Yeah.
but he hadn't been playing. Um, and then I had, so, Antrell Roll. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So Antrell Roll, uh, he came into the store once. He had just gotten in the league. Like he was like new to the league at that time. And he came from University of Miami, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a UM guy. He had just gotten into the league, and he was trying to buy some stuff for his kids, and
What was he
his
on the
credit card got.
was he on the Bucks or the Falcons or something like that? Or am I totally wrong?
I thought he was on the Redskins. Maybe I'm wrong. No, maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Some of these guys were on half the teams in the league by the time they were done
Right,
anyways.
right, right. He comes in. I ring up all the stuff, and he's the guy who parks in the front, doesn't even park in the space, parks like in the fire lane. Ring it up, go to slide the card, declined. And he's like, I'm like, hey man, like, and I knew who he was because I saw the card, and he was driving like an Escalade, and I was like, man, that's Antrell Roll. And he's like declined. I'm like, yeah. He's like, try this card. I was like, yeah, it's declined. He's like, damn. He's like, try one more card. It was declined. And he's like, man, hey, don't put my stuff back. I'll be right back. So he comes back like 15 minutes later, and now he's like sweating. He looks like he had just put in some work, and gives me one more card, declined. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, how, this guy is in the NFL. Like, where the hell did all his money go? So he goes, man, give me 10 more minutes. I will be back. He comes back in 10 minutes with cash. I don't know where he got the cash from. My man was down to like the dollar of what it was. Like it was like,
Probably
um,
probably
you
has
know,
cash in at home, but he what was did you find out what the reason was that his card draw declined?
no, just everything was
I
declined.
mean,
So
he could have, if he was a smart player, he had a financial advisor who was in charge of that stuff
right,
and might have set like weekly or monthly limits on what he could
yeah,
fucking
true,
spend, you
true,
know? Uh,
right. So he he had cash, but it was like 3 or 400. I mean, no. Actually, it was 621. I think it was. He had like 622, like in change or something. I don't remember what it was. It It was like whatever he had. It was like to the
That
dollar.
last $3
So
was in like nickels and pennies.
he had change.
Yeah.
Like he was giving me change at the end. Like that's not $1 in quarters, $2, and I'm like, this guy's in the fucking NFL. Like you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. But yeah, so those are the three main ones. We had some other NFL players come in, but they were always like cool, took pictures, blah blah blah. I just think about Randy Moss, the Antonio Brown thing, because he, like, you could tell, like, that day he was like in another world. Like, you know, like he smelled like weed. Like he was just like, he was just had enough of Tom Brady, I guess, in the Patriots. Maybe Tom Brady's the problem here.
I
Maybe
mean,
that's the problem.
it's cool when everyone's winning, but sometimes people get sick of his shit. I mean,
Yeah.
listen. There's a reason on the sidelines. There's famous things of him like trying to high five people, and it's kind of like everyone pretends they don't see him, and he's standing there, slap my hand, slap my hand,
Right.
and him barking at people and the crybaby shit he does with the refs. It's he does a lot of unlikable shit, and he also
Right.
I don't know if he's still with that guy that does that TB12 like
Right.
the fitness stuff, but I know that's one reason why he left New England was Belichick wasn't having it with that guy, that guru guy, that health and fitness guy. That was I think him and Tom were like doing gyms together or exercise programs or
TB12,
supplements or
yeah.
whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it was, and it was almost cult-like where he was recruiting people on the team to do that stuff instead
Right.
of some of the regular team treatments and things like that. That Tom was getting people to go to this guy instead. I know Gronk was
Right.
one of them, and I think it's a little bit of the, when someone gets a little too big for the locker room, like
People
LeBron.
kind of get a little pissed.
Remember LeBron? Like,
Yeah.
the inmates were running the asylum when he was in Cleveland,
Right.
and they were letting him have all of his friends there. He came to Miami, and Riley was like, "That's not going to happen." And
Right. We do it my way. Yeah.
right, and LeBron did fulfilled his contract here and went somewhere where he could do it again, which was went back to Cleveland and then went to L.A. And
Right.
I'm sure all of his boys are in the back and his family, but we didn't have that shit here. And hey, 2 out of 4 years we won championships, so it's not like
Right.
Right.
It's not like right. Well, and then talking about celebrities too. I don't know. I haven't ever told this story either. The Cam Newton story. I don't know if I've ever told it on the podcast.
I don't know that I even know it.
Yeah. So we did an event with Cam Newton once, and Cam was coming to the store. This is when he was playing for the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte, and Cam was going to come to the store with God, I don't remember the backup quarterback's name. He'd been in the league forever.
Matt Moore?
Something Anderson. Forgot his name.
Quarterback?
So anyway, yeah, he was a quarterback.
I don't know.
He was backup quarterback. Never started. He started when like maybe when Cam got hurt or something. But he was there, and then he had brought a receiver with him who he was in the league for a little bit, played for the Patriots, but he kind of fizzled out. I don't even know. I don't remember his name. Some Brandon something Brandon.
The only receiver I know
Anyway.
from Carolina up till today is Steve Smith. So
Yeah, these are irrelevant guys.
Yeah.
So before the event starts, this guy comes in and he's like 6'6". He's driving a red Range Rover. Comes in the store and he's like, "Hey, I'm Cam's bodyguard." I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Before Cam comes, we've got a tour of the store." I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "I need to know where all the emergency exits are. I need to know, have a plan if something happens and someone attacks Cam and we have to get out." I was like,
we got
"What?"
to know our exit routes in case of baby mama.
Right. Well, here's the thing though, is this is an event for with the police department and 30 kids. It was the store was going to be open though. So, I get it, maybe a little nervous the store was going to be open during this. So we start walking and he's checking exit doors and I'm thinking fuck is this is weird. This is crazy. Checking exit doors. He's, looking at routes. He's got a map, drawing on a piece of paper, but it looks like a child is drawing it. He's he doesn't really have drawing skills. And he's trying to draw this map of like an
He's
exit plan, like he's 12
he's no
or 6.
cartographer.
Right, right. And I was like, man, if there was an incident, he's gonna look at that map and be like, well, fuck, I don't know where we are because it doesn't look anything like what we're walking. So anyway, he does the map and we like check all the doors and blah, 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 blah. Tells us like some plans if something happens and this and that. So he's like, all right, like he's gonna call Cam now and tell Cam that he can head over, like it's secure. I was like, okay. So Cam's dad comes first. Cam Newton's dad's a monster of a man too, huge man. His dad, best, nicest guy, sweetheart. Came in, shook everybody's hand, introduced himself. You know, was excited for the event. What's the plan? You know, we give him the plan so the kids are gonna come in. Blah blah blah. We're gonna give each kid $100 gift card, and the kids get to shop with Cam and the two other guys, and you know, that's the event. They get to shop with them, and then we'll take a group picture. And Cam's people were there, his like agent or something, and she's like, well, Cam is gonna give each kid a pair of his new headphones, Beats headphones, as well. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So Cam comes in with his two buddies. Cam's also driving a Range Rover. His was white though. Same as his buddies, his security guys, but the security guys was red. So Cam comes in and he totally no sells the kids. Like they're not even there. Like he just like didn't care to like talk to the kids or like nothing. Now the backup quarterback, he was with his wife and he was very into it. You know, like with the kids and the shop and this and that. Cam and the other guy who was the wide receiver, they had no interest in being there. At one point, I look over and the two of them are riding the bikes from the bike department through the store doing wheelies and like not paying attention to the kids though. And then every time Cam walked, if his bodyguard was next to him the entire time, like he's riding bikes and the bodyguard's like jogging next to him. But anytime somebody asked him for a picture or an autograph, he never said no. His bodyguard did. He would totally no sell the people, kids, adults. He wouldn't even look at them. He would literally just keep walking or doing what he was doing, and his bodyguard would say no pictures or autographs. Like he wouldn't even acknowledge the people.
Yeah.
Which drove me fucking insane. I was livid.
Yeah.
That all these little kids were asking for his autograph, and he was. And then this backup quarterback's over there, you know, they're not even asking him for his autograph because they have no idea who this guy is, but he's shopping with these kids and helping them. At one point, they get to the front, Cam and the receiver guy, they're up front, and Cam's like, I'm hungry. And the lady who was like the district manager is like, oh, okay. Like we can bring you up here. He's like, yeah, I don't have any money. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't have any money. And she's like, okay. She's like, what do you want? He's like, I want Welch's grapefruit snacks. And he got some chocolate and the other guy got some stuff. And she's like, we'll just mark it out of stock. I was like, this cheap, he is a rich NFL player making a lot of money doing something in the city where he's like, these kids think he's an icon. And he wouldn't even pay for his stuff.
Yeah.
He said he had no money. Like I was so mad that night. He was such an asshole. He was just not cool at all. And he just kind of like it's funny because in the past, the Cincinnati Bengals, for instance, AJ Green had done, I forgot there was a running back there at the time, Corey Dillon, maybe? I don't remember.
I mean,
whoever was there at AJ years ago, this is like 7 years ago. When the kids got to the register, if they spent more than $100, he would pay for it on his corporate card. It was AJ Green for sure. He would pay for it on his personal card. So if the kid had a $100 gift card and was at 120, he would just pay the 20 on his card. That in Cincinnati, AJ Green ended up spending $1,000 of his own money, and he didn't care. Like it meant nothing to him. Get to see these kids happy, right?
Well, it's such a small amount compared to what he makes, but also it's a tax write-off. It's charity.
Right. And listen, everybody's watching pictures, you get the publicity for it went viral. It was all over it was everywhere.
Yeah.
AJ Green spent a measly $1,000 to make these kids happy. Cam was like, nah, if they go over their 100, I can't help them. That was it. Like that was it. And he was adamant about that. Like, if they go over their 100, it's too bad. I got nothing to tell you. I
Yeah,
can't help you.
I don't understand the point of going to a charity event and then not taking pictures with the people that are there
Well,
participating
right.
in it.
So
That's
then,
annoying, and I feel like it might have been one of those deals where it was set up by the PR department, and he was forced to do this thing.
right. He didn't
It's not
want
like
to.
his charity and him wanting to do it and his
Right.
idea and all that, and so he he knew he had to do it. He didn't have to
Hmm.
be happy to be there. He didn't have to be cooperative, but he satisfied the obligation.
So what he did after, it's so weird because so then after, he's like, the event wasn't over and he wanted to leave. So he got all the kids together, he gave them all the beats, and then he took a group picture and he left with the receiver and his dad. And the kids were not done yet. Like the event was still going on and he left. So the backup quarterback, it drives me nuts, I can't remember his name. He stayed and shopped with these kids, and this guy, he's a backup quarterback. Like he wasn't making nearly as much as Cam was making, and he was helping kids, him and his wife, and she was his fiance at the time. And he he was just, he was delightful. When the event ended, he had stayed, and we like ended up shooting the shit for like 45 minutes. Me, another guy, him and his wife. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, look, he's young. He's like, I've been around the league a long time. He's young. He doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. He's like, and it's frustrating because he doesn't listen when people tell him, um,
Yeah, people
you
trying
know,
to help him out, being like, "Hey,
right,
trying to
right,
smarten
right,
you up."
right,
Sorry,
right,
try to smarten you up for your own good.
right.
Uh,
And he was saying that, like, you're trying to tell hit this guy, like, hey, man, you know, you got to, you got to smarten up. You can't be doing that. And
Always
yeah, he
takes
just
that the
didn't.
wrong way. Yeah.
He didn't get it. He said, he goes, he just doesn't get it, man. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. Derek Anderson, that's who it was. Derek Anderson,
That name sounds familiar.
the quarterback for the Browns for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a man. He was so nice. Yeah. So we ended up talking for like 45. He invited me and the other guy, like, oh, you ever downtown? Here's my number. Let me, go. We'll come out with you guys. Well, I was like, this guy's like down to earth. Like he's probably making league minimum. Like he lived in an apartment in downtown Charlotte, and then
Well, it's all. But
it's funny,
look at it this way. This probably like what his third team or fourth team he's been on.
right?
They don't know
Right.
anyone there. They meet some fucking people they
Right.
like. They're like,
He said that. He said, I don't know anybody here.
yeah. So
So the next year we did the event again, and he came again, and they were married at the time. Now they had gotten married in between the year, and same thing, man. He stayed 45 minutes after the event, just talking to everybody, and it's like at that point you knew he had established himself as this really cool guy the prior year. So people that worked there wanted pictures with him and his autograph. This is the backup quarterback, but he had made such an impression that people wanted to see him and not Cam at that point
yeah.
because
I mean,
he was
even when you're a backup quarterback, you're still a Carolina. Like, how many Carolina Panthers do you meet? Most
right,
people.
right, and he played. He
Right.
played. He played. Cam got hurt and he played. I mean, it's not like he didn't.
Yeah.
And then, but he was super, super. Cam was just. I mean, like I just never met someone who was so. And his dad, you could tell, was trying to kind of reel him in, and he was just he was on his own planet, man.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Like there wasn't anything.
That's a bit of a Here's the problem: is that when you go from like, and maybe this will help in college, allowing them to have a few bucks in their pocket, so it's not
Right.
such a huge jump from nothing to multimillionaire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like all of a sudden, how do you not get a big head and whatever when you're a starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers and you got $30 million
And they
in the
were
bank,
winning at the time.
and you
Right.
got,
They
yeah,
were
you got
winning.
$30 in the bank? How do you not? You went from nothing to that, and I'm not saying nothing. I don't
Yeah.
know what his background was, but I'm just saying that most
Right,
athletes, they're poor in school. They're not allowed to even earn money. You're not allowed to even hold a job. So,
Well, it's funny. It's in my current job, I get to meet a lot of athletes though too. I do, and he was really the only one who really was like, wow. I mean, I met
My roommate,
Buddy Hield.
my
Yeah.
roommate met Jason Pierre-Paul recently. He's like good friends with the guy who owns the company that that my roommate works for, and so they hung out like once or twice, and he loves giving people that handshake with the
Is he
hand.
really with the
Yeah,
finger, huh?
yeah. I mean, he's missing like two, I think. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
But so speaking of him, I don't
yeah,
know if you ever heard this though. If I ever told you, I probably never told you this. When we lived in Boca, and my kids went to uh, elementary school, Jason Pierre Paul's um, uncle was the janitor of the school,
yeah.
and him and my dad used to talk all the time. But it was his uncle, was the
Pierre-Paul, I
janitor.
assume it's a Haitian name.
Yeah, yeah, he was, yeah, Haitian,
Yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, so we met two other guys I met, within the last couple of years. One was Jay Ajayi, Miami Dolphin at the time.
Yeah.
Uh, can I tell you, he was so fucking cool, so cool. He was so cool and humble. He said, "I don't." We were there like for the autograph signing, and he had a line. I mean, there was like a couple hundred people. He was hot at the time, though. He had like he was that's it. Remember that year he was like really hot,
Yeah.
right? So he comes in for the signing, and we're just shooting the shit beforehand, and he goes, "Look, I'll be honest with you." He goes, "Man, I don't see myself as like this famous dude." He goes, "Can I go look at the line?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he like peeked outside. He was like, "Oh my god." He's like, "Why are these people here to see me?" Like, he's like, "I just run a football." Like, he was totally humble about it and was just like blown away that people wanted to see him.
Well,
And
that's
we,
all. Well, that's also because I don't think I think until he started to do something with the Dolphins,
right,
it's not like he was like the star running
right,
back
he
of
wasn't.
Alabama or something. You know what I mean?
Right, I
So
don't even
the
know where he went to school.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't think fame had started until he started doing something in the
right,
NFL.
right. And he was totally just humble, respectful. Uh, and he had got through the line, and he still had like 30 minutes left. And somebody said, there's like another line forming because we told people you're still here. Well, the 30 minutes that he had left, the line formed so big because people in the mall started catching on at Sawgrass Mills.
Oh God.
He Next thing you know, his half hour's up, and they're like, "Jay, there's like another 100 people around." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going anywhere." He's like, "Until we're done." And
Yeah.
he stayed on his own dime, his own time. He made sure everybody got an autograph. He signed autographs for all the staff, for me. Like, he yeah, he was totally cool and humble. I don't even know what happened to him because like after that, he had like 2 good years and then he disappeared.
We traded him to the Eagles,
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, that's right,
and
that's
I
right,
mean I don't know where he is now. I don't know if he's in the league still or not.
right. And then
I
the
think
other,
he had some injuries and stuff like that.
yeah, the other guy I met was a guy named he's a huge NBA player. Buddy Hield plays for the Sacramento Kings. Buddy was a rookie for the Kings, and I mean, now he's a top player in the NBA, and um, he came to do an autograph signing, but he was a rookie, like kind of new to the league. He was good because he was good in college, and his agent. So when they came in, his agent came in first, and we're just talking, blah blah blah, and she's like, "Yeah, like Buddy will sign for the 2 hours," and then he had rules though, like he if kids came up, kids got first access. Like kids were first.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because they're kids. He autograph seekers, like people that were, trying to get to make money and stuff. One item. So when a couple of them tried to like, you know, they wanted some more stuff, he was like, if that happens, like, I'm gonna speak up. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and if you got to handle him, then you got to handle him. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. His agent was also Kobe Bryant's agent at the time. Kobe was retired, but she was Kobe's agent and his agent. Him and Kobe were super tight. They were like best buds. So he, so we're signing, and this guy gets in line. He gets his shirt, a jersey signed, basketball jersey, and then like 30 minutes later, he's back coming through, and Buddy's like, "Nah." no, 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 no. No, he just got a jersey signed. And I was like, yeah, you did, man. This guy had a San Francisco 49ers jersey. He wanted an NBA player to sign. And
That's
the guy's,
weird.
and Buddy's like, I'm not signing it.
Yeah.
He's like, why? Why? He's like, you got, no, that wasn't me. It was a different guy. Buddy just looked at me and I was like, okay. And I was like, hey, you got to go. Oh, I got to go. Where am I? You know, the guy's throwing a fit. And I was like, listen, motherfucker. Like, he's a big fat slob. I'm like, you know, he got like shit, like sauce all over his shirt. And I was like, Buddy said no. It's no. Like, you're not, we're not playing this game,
No
dude.
fat chicks.
Right. Well, but the fact that he was trying to get a 49ers a
Jersey.
49ers
Yeah.
jersey signed, I'm like what was he thinking? Like what was his thought process there?
Did I ever tell you my brother's Brian Cox story?
No, but I met Brian Cox too, so go ahead.
So it was the Super Bowl that was in Miami with Denver and Atlanta.
Right?
And he and I decided to do a bunch of like
Pretty birds?
like the NFL adjacent stuff that was in the area, and we'd just get a ton of shit signed, run up the credit cards, and then sell it on eBay, and you know, and then step for profit. And so there were all these things going on, and one thing there was like this Foot Locker pavilion. And at different times, they would have different people scheduled for signings there. And I just remember, like, Chris Carter was signing for, like, an hour there. And the line wasn't...
He lives in Boca still.
Yeah, the line wasn't long.
Right.
But it was like, I would literally... I think it was like... There was some dumb rule about, like, one item per person. But there was no, like, you couldn't go through the line again. I just think they expected the line to be longer. So I ended up going through the line 8 times. And every time I'd go through the line, they had to register before you got to him because you were buying something to get him to sign.
Right.
So I ended up buying 8 NFL footballs with the
Logo or whatever.
with the Vikings logo on it. And I mean,
Okay.
I killed on those, you know. But anyway, so we'd had like we had a bag full of like mini helmets just in case we saw a player walking around and we could get them to sign
Right.
it, and, you know, all that shit. So, who is it? Is it Mark Brunell? Was he the Jags?
Jaguars quarterback.
Yeah, had him sign 2 jerseys, like just all these random people out, and I would like go,
Right.
oh, there's Brunell. Let me go get something. But so my brother goes up to Brian Cox, and he was on the Jets at the time, and my brother goes up and asks him to sign a Jets mini helmet, and Brian Cox is like, you know, I'm down here in Miami, and I just don't feel like a Jet today, and he wouldn't sign it.
But he played for them.
But that day he didn't
After
feel
the
like
Dolphins.
a Jet because he was back in Miami.
Oh my god. Yeah, I met him. He was cool. He signed my stuff for me. He
Huh?
was cool.
Yeah.
He was cool. He's a big dude.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a big dude.
Yeah.
Like thick.
Big linebacker.
But yeah, and yeah, I mean,
My
like,
brother
most
was
of the athletes
so
are cool.
fucking mad because my brother's a huge Jets fan, and it was like he wasn't gonna flip it; he was gonna keep it. He liked Brian
Right.
Cox, and Brian Cox totally fucked him. Totally fucked him.
fucked him over. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. No, I said, you know, I know you guys were autographers. You and Jackie went out to get, but we did it back in the day with my dad.
Bro,
And we talked
Jack-
about this.
Jackie lived here in this apartment complex I'm in for years, and
Mhm.
and apparently because we're so close to the old Dolphins training facility, I know
Training
they
center.
moved this year,
Right.
that a lot
Right.
of like the first year players or guys that have been traded here that aren't going to buy a house, they're just going to get an apartment or whatever, they would
Right.
get them in this complex. So Jackie would drive around and try and spot like cars that belong to the football players, and you know, a couple of times he found Miami Dolphins living here.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean he's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
resourceful.
I know my brother now. You know, he lives in New Jersey. So where he lived, his building, the next building over is where Daniel Jones lives, the Giants' shitty quarterback.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen,
but
everyone. I don't think there's very few people that you can't put shitty in front of their position. Okay, yeah, that team. You got a
well,
lot of shitty receivers. You got a lot of shitty linemen. You got shitty coaches. There's not too
I mean,
many
they lost to the
standouts.
Bears today.
Yeah, they lost bad.
Like I mean, honestly, the only thing that makes it better is how bad the Jaguars are because they are fucking bad. Trevor Lawrence threw a touchdown today, and the announcer said that's only his second touchdown he's thrown in the last 9 games. I'm like,
Wow.
how is he even getting paid? Like, what is he doing? Yeah. So, but
They may have
yeah, I
already
don't
ruined
know.
him, huh?
Oh yeah, he's done. No way. No way.
Luckily, they could pick
But
another one next year.
because they have the first pick again. Yeah.
Right. Oh.
So,
They
but yeah,
they
but
should
no,
have honestly they should have kept Gardner Minshew and traded that
right,
pick for the fucking world. They could have
right,
gotten some other team's entire draft selection for
right.
that one,
So stupid.
and they would have had Minshew, who I think at least short term could be a competent
Right,
game manager or a nice surprise.
right,
But you're
right,
rebuilding anyways. You could just do a little wait and
right,
see and draft another quarterback like in the 3rd round and just
right,
evaluate all year. But
right.
you could have gotten so many good players with with the amount of draft picks you could have gotten for that spot. Instead, you basically have lit fire to the whole team, including the coaches, and it's
Yeah,
start overtime again.
yeah, yeah. True, I agree. Well, hey, at least they got Tony Khan.
Yeah.
But,
Well, him and his
yeah.
diversity problems.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
I mean, look, I like. Maybe they shouldn't own a NFL football team. Maybe they don't know how to run a football
Right,
program. But the kid definitely knows how to run a wrestling
right.
promotion, and it's just really funny that he's getting attacked for diversity issues
Yeah,
when there aren't any diversity issues there, and
right.
he himself proudly calls himself a brown person. He's Pakistani. Like how racist can he be against other brown
Yeah,
people? He's if anything,
right.
he should be like, fuck these white guys.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am going to AEW next week,
Are you
Saturday. Yeah, I
in
am.
New Orleans?
Charlotte,
Oh, there's one in Charlotte, huh?
Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So I will be going there.
Are you going there with
Which
your house guests?
yeah, and Nick's coming, which Nick hasn't been to a wrestling show or watched wrestling. I mean, he saw like when CM Punk came out, he watched it like recently, but yeah, we're gonna go and I'm gonna be a total mark. I'm going to I really hope Jericho isn't back on tour because I want to hear that live.
Oh,
This song,
the fan
Judas.
participation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe I may go to Hot Topic and buy a shirt, now or something.
yeah. There's no
Just get into the spirit.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Hot Topic.
They sell Young Buck shirts. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Inner
mean, you
Circle.
should just order something online from
Maybe I'll order something tonight.
Pro
So
Wrestling
it'll be
Tees.
here,
Yeah.
right? And I can, I can be a mark at the show.
Speaking of
No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm wearing my own shirt.
your own shirt, your Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
All right. You should,
Yeah.
man. You should get a front row seat and just stand there pointing to your shirt all fucking night.
All night. Like your buddy Green was a green shirt.
Oh, green shirt. Well, he
Yeah.
he doesn't try and sell his merch on the.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll have a good update for that. I'm sure that show at least because I'm excited. I'm actually excited to go to a wrestling show. Day one was here yesterday. WWE. I did not go. I had the chance to go for free and opted out of it because
Oh, that
I
was in
really don't
Atlanta?
care. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not sure
Somebody-
I will, but I was
Somebody.
I
had
was
free
way
tickets
too
at
busy
work, and
watching.
I said no.
Yeah, I was watching Cobra Kai yesterday. I wasn't going to switch over for WWE.
I heard the main event was good, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
and Brock went over. So, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not really. I didn't want to go for free. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, they did.
Um,
They did Big E dirty. Just couldn't
yeah,
have him champion on the road to WrestleMania. That's a
right.
no-no.
So, but yeah, well, that's all I got.
That's all I
That was a
got.
good. That was a no. That was a good NFL podcast. I think we needed something different that wasn't food, poop, or wrestling.
Well, the last few haven't been any of that, but it hasn't been anything of substance either.
This was a good celebrity podcast. So
Except it had no celebrities on it.
right. I mean, in our own mind, maybe. So,
All right.
well,
All right.
all right. Adios. Toodaloo.
Yeah, I'm done with you now.
Goodbye.